This is I Am British, of course, the platform for common sense thinking, standing for British values, traditions, democracy, and definitely freedom of speech. So my name's Ricky Doolan and I am British.
My name is BASEDANDBOUGIE and I am British.
And today we are going to be talking about one of our favorite topics and one of our favorite people to talk about, of course, the leader of the British cultural awakening, Tommy Robinson. So we're going to start with him. We're also going to be talking about the Western riots. I mean, this is crazy, right?
It's absolutely insane, but we're going to get into it today.
Things are burning right now. So then we're going to also talk about Sadiq Khan and his knighthood and the honoring system and what's going on with all of that. But let's start with our brother, the leader of the British cultural movement, the man, the most wrongly persecuted man in not just Britain, but the whole world. If you can find another one, maybe Donald Trump. Maybe him and Donald Trump are competing for the most persecuted man, wrongly persecuted, might I say. Tommy Robinson. A lot going on with Tommy Bist. He's been out of prison for 2 weeks, and he's not stopped.
And that's what's shocking to me. Most people, when they come out of a situation as traumatic as solitary confinement, their first thing is to either rest or just shut up so they can never go back in there again. But this is why Robinson is so loved, and people almost see him as like a hero for this country because his resilience and he's almost his discipline to keep going even when he's in the worst of the worst conditions. I think he deserves all the praise that he gets from people. Like, we don't care about the David Beckhams, we don't care about all these people who literally do nothing for this country. I remember when we was in jail, Tommy Robinson said he's the sacrificial lamb, and he's actually okay with that. So yeah, to see him just continuing to just keep going, keep poking the bear, keep antagonizing the media by not shutting up. Sometimes it's a bit scary because I feel like, Tommy Robinson, please be careful. But at the same time, I think he knows this is necessary. Like, he always says that this fight is bigger than him. And now imagine if every single person in the UK had that mindset. The Islamification, the transification, the lesbiancation, everything we're seeing, all the chaos that we're seeing now, it would go if we all had that mindset of putting this country and British values, which coincide with Christian values, ourselves. But people are not ready for that yet because, you can only reach that stage in your life of complete selflessness when you come to terms with Jesus Christ and his word. But yeah.
Be careful. Watch out for that lesbian occasion, okay? That's very dangerous stuff. But yeah, absolutely. And I think the fact that Tommy Robinson has accepted that he's a sacrificial lamb for the nation is quite a big deal, and it shows a lot of his mindset that enables him to kind of put himself in the face of danger. But I love what you said there, BASEDANDBOUGIE, which was, if we all thought like that and if we all acted like that, we can take back our country. Because united together with that type of mindset, that we don't care if we get cancelled, we don't care what they say about us, we don't care what names they throw at us, we don't care if they try and get us on lawfare. If we all have that type of mindset, we can do something. So I think he's very inspiring in that manner, and he's leading by example. And of course, right now is a moment when the nation is waking up and the people are waking up. And we have the Unite the Kingdom movement that's taking place, of course, in the next rallies on September the 13th. But we have this kind of situation where the silent majority have woken up, and the silent majority are really saying enough is enough. And, we're going to talk about the riots in a bit, but that's really an example of people having enough. So Tommy hasn't stopped. If we lay down, I'm going to open up his X account in a minute because something's just happened today that I want to get into. The lawfare has continued today. It's just happened about an hour ago. But if we go back through his timeline, then basically he came out of prison. Outside of the prison, he did his first on-screen appearance, like still with the Robinson Crusoe beard and everything, and which showed his intent that he's not stopping. He then created a documentary about how the Daily Mail set up his exposed his children and put them at risk. So he filmed a whole documentary that was put out. He did an interview with Rebel News. He did an interview with Don Keefe over in Barbados. He traveled over to Barbados because, of course, America's still not letting Tommy in. But listen, if anyone out there can get this to Donald Trump, let our brother Tommy Robinson into the country, man. Do something. Do some special pardon or something like that, because he needs to be in there talking. And the whole reason he can't get into America is because they tried to stop him from talking way back. But anyway, so he went to Barbados. He met with Don Keefe, did an interview. He met with Patrick Bet-David, did that huge podcast that is it's already got millions of views in 2 days. Straight off the back of that, he came back to the UK. He did a podcast with Liam Tufts, and now he's saying he's going to rest with his family for 3 weeks, and that's what we want, Based, isn't it?
Yes, no, absolutely. And again, this is what I mean when I say putting the country and putting truth above yourself, because he could have taken those 3 weeks off with his family first
Yeah,
for his
true.
own personal peace and his own personal joy. But he said, let me get to work first, let me sort everything out, and then focus on my family. And honestly, it's astonishing because even you can even admit this, or I can admit this, you would die for your family. You would do anything to protect your
Yes.
family. Sometimes I feel like Tommy Robinson, he has a little bit of insanity in him to the point where his love for his country and his tribalism for his country, if we all had that mindset, God, so many things would change in this country.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, he did 7 months in solitary confinement. 7 months. I tweeted about this the other day, and I said, give the man his flowers, right? Whether you like him, you don't like him. He says that a lot of his friends call him Marmite, like you love him or you hate him. So whichever side you're on, the love or the hate side, give the man his flowers. He did 7 months in solitary confinement. They tried to break him down mentally. That's the whole purpose of putting somebody in solitary for that long of a period of time. And remember, it was a civil case. He was never supposed to be in prison anyway, especially solitary. So they tried to crush him. He comes out of prison and he's straight on the grind. 2 weeks of working. And, he deserves that 3 weeks with his family, and you've got to give the man his respect for that. And the funny thing is, Bougie, is that the Americans, they respect Tommy way more than the British kind of politicians, commentators, etc. They see from afar, I think, a clearer picture of who Tommy is, what he stands for, and what he's all about.
Yeah, no, because America has a complete different culture to the UK. I feel like in America, they're very big on protecting and defending their rights. So when they look to the UK and they see someone's rights is being taken away from them, they feel that need to protect their rights, to protect their values, to protect to protect their law. Whereas here in the UK, we have a more of a conservative culture where it's like everyone just stay quiet, everyone mind your business. We just want to get to work in the morning and feed our families. And this is why you see in America they've been able to change things in like 5, 10 years because they are
Yes.
loud. They are very, very loud. This is why I always say every time America sneezes, the whole world catches the flu. And I'm so happy that these Americans are starting to speak about what's going on with Tommy Robinson, because soon the whole world will catch this flu and wake up and realize, wait, someone has been military confinement because of a documentary. We are losing our Western values, the Western values that people like myself and my parents came here for. So yeah, it's a shame. And I think another reason why people in the UK support Tommy Robinson less is because of multiculturalism. Multiculturalism has almost divided us. Most people who have come into the UK, I mean, some cultures, they've come to the UK to create their own separate cultures,
Yeah.
if that makes. Whereas in the USA, you have Jamaicans there, you have Mexicans there, you have Dominicans there, but they're all American. They all speak American. They all act American. They all have that like American swag, if that makes sense. Whereas here in the UK, we all have our own separate communities. You have the Asians and they don't mix with anyone else. You have the Caribbeans, they don't mix with anyone else. So everyone's kind of separated. So we have this rule where it's like you can't mix with other communities. You can't defend other communities. But this is why lives, where people like myself and you are actually sitting here conversing, sorry, and fighting for one thing, which is British values and the British flag, is very, very important for people to see, so we can kind of break that division and that tribalism. So yeah.
Absolutely, and I think it's fortunate for us in a way at the minute that the Americans are so big on freedom of speech, because that's the issue that has caught all of their attention, and it happens to be Tommy Robinson that is at the pinnacle of that persecution of freedom of speech. So they've all caught fire, especially from this period in solitary confinement and being arrested for that movie and being put to solitary for that movie, for silenced. That's the thing that's caught everyone's imagination in America. And it's provoked Elon Musk to want to be involved in British politics. And that, if you look at this, and this is amazing, Based and Bougie, this was a revelation from during the week. We might play the video in a bit. It was basically Ben Habib on one of the news networks. And he gave us the revelation. It's what we were all thinking, but we didn't know for sure, that when the whole thing happened with Reform earlier this year, when Nigel Farage went over to America and he was part of one of them events with Donald Trump after Donald Trump had been elected. And then when he came back from America, Elon Musk went public on X and said, Nigel Farage is not the man to lead Reform and save Britain, or something like that. And after that, Elon Musk proclaimed that Rupert Lowe was the man. And all of that took place. And at that time, Elon Musk was pledging £100 million of donations to Reform. And that, of course, he stepped back from that. And then Rupert Lowe was fired from Reform, and all of that thing happened. But if you think about it, even for Elon Musk to want to put 100 million in, it was because of this freedom of speech issue. And one of the main reasons that Elon Musk would have known about it, and that many of the Americans, was Tommy Robinson. So the revelation that came from Ben Habib was that Tommy Robinson was the factor in changing Elon Musk's mind in terms of Nigel Farage not acknowledging that Tommy Robinson was a political prisoner was the thing that turned Elon Musk off from Nigel Farage. Can you imagine? So Tommy Robinson was actually the piece that the straw that broke the camel's back between the relationship of Elon Musk and Nigel Farage.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And this is why in life you just have to remain consistent. This is why in life you have to chase truth. Always. And the thing is that people will look at Tommy Robinson's situation and think, what a shame. This guy has ruined his life. But now he has the backing of the most powerful man, because he stayed consistent in his truth for 20 years plus, in his truth. So what we're seeing is kind of the hand of God in his life, kind of positioning him. And if, like I said, I will keep repeating this, if only we all had the same mindset, if only we was all as loud as Tommy Robinson, imagine how many Elon Musks would be out there trying to support each and every one of us. So yeah, Tommy Robinson's work is absolutely astonishing, because he not only just stands for himself, he stands for all the issues that are going on here in the UK.
Absolutely. And I loved how you put it there, which is Tommy Robinson has stood on the truth. What he believes is the truth without any, the problem we have in British politics right now, and wherever you are watching from, just share this broadcast, share it on X. We're live on X. So if you're on X, just give it a retweet. If you're on YouTube, share the link with somebody. Let's get some more people in, and people engage with the conversation. It's important. So just share this live broadcast wherever you can. But what I was going to say is what's very interesting is that the truth, and Tommy standing on the truth in the face of persecution, in the face of imprisonment, in the face of his life being destroyed. And remember, the state have took millions of pounds off him. They've given him full lawfare attack. But to be able to stand strong on the truth and have that integrity to say, I'm standing for my country, I'm standing for my children's future, no matter what they do to me, which is basically a Christian value and principle, because that is exactly what Christ did in the face of persecution. in the face of knowing that he was going to go to his death on the cross, he could have fled. He could have fled to Egypt. He could have fled anywhere around the world. And he decided to go back to Jerusalem to face the persecution for the greater good. So it's a very much a Christian-centric type of attitude that Tommy Robinson's took, that I will take whatever they throw at me for the sake of my children, for the sake of my country, for the sake of the British people. And of course, we saw on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, Tommy Robinson coming out the closet, so to speak, about being a Christian, which was amazing, because this time and age, we need to get, and Tommy expressed this very perfectly on Patrick Bet-David. This time, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not, whether you believe in the supernatural or you don't, what we can all unite on, and we must, to save our country, is the Christian heritage, value system, traditions, and foundation of Britain. And Tommy Robinson went on that huge platform and said exactly that. And, I must echo that, Based and Bougie. That's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, no, and this is why people adore Tommy Robinson, because he is like the epitome. He basically stands for British values, not only through his accent and his Burberry shirts, but just everything about him, his resilience and his ability to just say, nope, I'm going to put the country first before, my own children, before my own family, before my own well-being. I'm pretty sure Tommy Robinson knows that this fight probably will be the end of him. I mean, we all wish that, Tommy Robinson's end is peaceful. But maybe he even has those thoughts at night where it's like, okay, this could be the end of me, but he keeps going for it. And I think that's the epitome of Christian values, but at the same time, it's also the epitome of British values. When we think about all the men who fought World War One, World War Two, and even the previous before that, they had this very brave lion heart where it was just like, we are putting the generations before us. And Tommy Robinson embodies that a lot. But at the same time, you don't have British values until you have Christian values.
Yes.
And I feel like had Tommy Robinson not gone into that spiritual cave, you would say, with Christ, whilst he was in solitary confinement. I don't really call it solitary confinement. I call it a spiritual cave between him and Christ.
That's
he probably would have left there. Yeah. And said, I'm not doing this. Enough is enough. I played the movie. I've done my job. I'm out. But he came out even more stronger. He even made a tweet saying something along the lines of, if you guys thought I was done, I have another documentary coming out. And imagine if we all had that mindset. Imagine the establishment wouldn't even stand a chance.
It's brilliant, and it's perfectly led there, almost as if it was planned, which it wasn't. So basically, the problem